Hello friends, how are you? Fine? Very good. So this is our third lecture on Silk Road by Nick Middleton. Then yesterday we saw a brilliant, beautiful morning, splendid morning of when they started their journey. The moon was floating, half moon was floating in the sky. And then the morning, as Shakespeare would say, the morn in russet mantle clad walks over yon high eastern hills. And he was given a gift by Lamu. And the gift was what was the gift, you remember? That long-sleeved sheepskin coat, because it was going from Rao to Kailash, was ought to be quite cold there, and therefore she thought that he must have some warm clothing. And then further we saw that they started their journey. There was Satan, the driver, and then Daniel was with him. And on the way they saw many things like kayang, wild asses, they saw gazelles nibbling. Further they saw drogbas and also the shepherds tending their sheep, and how the sheep expressed their displeasure, frowning and then veering away and taking evasive action. These are the things that we saw yesterday. Alright, today we continue this journey. We passed in, before that, as usual, we will explain these words. Nomads means people who don't settle down anywhere. They move from place to place. In good old days, our great forefathers were nomads. They did not settle down anywhere. Settling down began, as you know, after agriculture. Tents pitched means they erected their tent or made their tent. The word pitch is used for tent making. We don't say constructed or built, we say pitched the tent. Nomads pitch their tents. Example, splendid isolation means that is sufficient distance. Splendid isolation means sufficient distance. One tent here, and after 50 meters another tent. So there will be no interference, nothing like that. So having sufficient distance is splendid isolation. Usually tents are built with in splendid isolation. That is very simple for you. Cock their heads means lift their heads. See, when a cow is grazing on the meadows, when you go in here, they will cock their head like this. That's lifting their heads. So fix us in their sight. That is looking straight like this. Don't fix anybody in your sight, and don't stare at this. Explode into action, burst into action. Like when the commander says, no, fire, then they will start firing. Like that is burst into action. No time to waste. Quick action. Quick and very smart. So that is, they explode into action. Very often in a war situation, when the commander gives the orders fire, the army will explode into action. Sentence will be shaggy monster, clumsy. Means about dogs they are saying. Monster, you know, here dogs are, because the dogs are Tibetan mastiffs, half of the, you can say camel, size of a camel. Half size of a camel, a huge one, shaggy. And then you can see brake and swerve. Apply brake and take a turn like this. That is swerve means. And in dancing you can see people they swerve like that is. Okay, make chase means run after. Very often stray dogs make chase after people, isn't it? They run after the people. Easing up means feel comfortable. After an hour, the teacher goes to the department and eases off. Means take coffee or water or something like that. Imperial courts means embarrassed court. For example, we have got the Red Fort is an imperial fort, emperor's fort, imperial courts. Tribute means tax. We used to pay tribute to the British Crown before independence. Now, clogged means blocked. Or when the gutters are clogged, water will not be drained from a city. Gutters, you know, this clogging. Glinting means reflecting light. Early morning you can see from water. There will be pools of water. But they will be glinting, means reflecting light of the morning sun. Snow-capped mountains. Means on the top of the mountain there will be snow. That is snow-capped. Meander means you take a meandering, move this way and then that way. Like the movement of a snake. Snakes, they meander like this. They don't they don't walk straight as we do. They don't move straight, but they meander like this. And then ride bumpers, riding over bumper. Daubed means spread. See, during Holi, when you celebrate Holi, you daub colors on your friends. Lichen means small plants that grow on rock, on the surface of rocks, that is lichen. Hunks of snow, large sheets of snow. Petrol means slowly disappear. Petrol. See, what happens is that when the sun's rays fall on the snow will peter out, slowly disappear. And sweet means large piece of ice, large piece. In this case, it is ice, sweet. I think all the words are clear to you. All right. Now we come to today's attractions. Tibetan mastiffs, as I told you, huge dogs of size of half of a camel, and they are shaggy and they are ferocious. They explode into action. See, and they are so, what we must say, so arrogant also. Arrogant. They are not afraid of anybody. So arrogant, shaggy, and massive. They have got massive jaws. This part, huge jaws. You must have seen such dogs. When they open their mouth itself, we will fall down. Isn't it? Yes, that is. And then you have got tense, pitched and splendid isolation. That means, I already told you, sufficient distance. You have got snow-capped mountains gathering on the horizons. A beautiful description of the snow-capped mountains touching the horizon. Enter the valley, means that is they are on their way, progress of their journey, and mostly river-clogged. Snow, a swath of white stuff, means a huge area or huge piece of white stuff, that is snow. I think that much is clear to you, so we proceed further. Today we have got very good sights here. We passed nomads' dark tents, pitched in splendid isolation. There were nomads. Now, view one after another coming, swimming into their view. That is sights, splendid sights, swimming into their view. This. And then is a splendid isolation, usually with huge black dogs, a Tibetan mastiff standing guard. So they have got tents, sufficient distance. They are nomads. They move from one place to another. They don't settle down, and they are guarded by Tibetan mastiffs. Now, 2 or 3 sentences you will find description of the Tibetan mastiffs and their action, exploding air. These beasts would cock their great big heads, cock their great big heads when they become aware of our approach, when they became aware of our approach and fixed us in their sight. So they lifted their head like, and looked at them like, isn't it? As we continue to draw closer, means when nearer, they would explode into action, started barking, huge sound, terrible sounds also, that is terrible sound, and into action, speeding directly towards us, like a bullet from a gun, nearly as fast. So they won't wait, they explode into action, they come running towards you, and then they started barking. These shaggy monsters, blacker than the darkest night, usually wore bright red collars and barked furiously with massive jaws. So you will find a red collar, the whole thing is black, so darker than the night, and then they bark They run after you. They chase you till they see that you are out of their boundary. Then the next sentence is like that. They were completely fearless of our vehicle. Shooting is again straight into the path, causing Satan to break and swerve. So standing like this. They won't move. So who else will move? We have to move. We are humans. So we have to move. So he applied brake and then slowly they took a detour. Detour means a swerve, we can say. Or you can say change the path. Change the path. Because these dogs won't do. They don't know. They have no idea about the traffic rules. Therefore, we have to do that. That's what you have to do. So they were completely fearless and they swerved. Then what happened? The dog would make chase for 100 meters. And before easing off, having seen us off the property. Till you are out of their property, boundary, they will chase you. And they will continue barking. And afterwards, they will ease up. They will feel comfort. They will comfortably, they will come back. They will come back of property. It wasn't difficult to understand why ferocious Tibetan mastiffs became popular in China's imperial courts, emperor's court, as hunting dogs. Brought along the Silk Road, importance of Silk Road again. Silk Road. Then what happened is that in ancient times as tribute from Tibet. So emperors of China, they got tribute from Tibet, and one way of paying the tribute was giving a mastiff to them, so that they can use these dogs as hunters. Understand? Hunting dogs. That is, by now we could see snow-capped mountains gathering on the horizon. So snow-capped kissing the horizon. Snow-capped mountains kissing the horizon. We could see that. Because they are climbing now. By now we could see. We entered the valley where the river was wide and mostly clogged with ice. Brilliant white and glinting in the sunshine. The ice was brilliant white. And then it was glinting. Glinting means reflecting light. Reflecting light from the sunshine. The trail hugged its bank. The trail hugged its bank, twisting with the meanders. Twisting with the meanders as we gradually gained height and the valley sides closed in. So we are slowly going up. The trail hugged its bank. The trail hugged its bank. Hugging is so very closely to the bank. Twisting with the meanders, this way. As I told you, like the movement of a snake, meanders, twisting with the meanders. Or we trail, that is the rod, the trail. And we gradually gained height, the valley sides closed in, slowly narrowing, valley sides narrow. And the turns became sharper, and the ride bumpier. Satan now in third gear as we continued to climb. So the valley became narrow, rock, and so the climbing became bumpier, the riding became bumpier. Like you are riding on bumps now. Your road bumps you can see. Speed breakers. So like that. This is exactly, this is something that we know every day. The track moved away from the icy river. Track the road. The road moved away from the icy river, laboring through steeper slopes. Steeper slopes means slopes but steep, isn't it? That is steep. And then what happens is the track moved away from the icy river. So far we were icy river, clogged with ice. Now what happened? Moved away. It changed its course. The track changed its course. And laboring through steeper slope. Laboring through means who is laboring through? We are laboring, not the road. See that? The road was so clumsy that we had to put our effort, lot of effort. So the laboring is not done by the road, but the laboring is done by human beings here. Laboring through steeper slopes. That you can say spotted big rocks. So there were big rocks here and there, daubed with patches, spread with patches of bright orange lichen. So bright orange lichen means the color of the lichen was orange, and on the rock top you could see them. That's a bright orange. Daubed means spread here and there. Beneath the rocks, hunks of snow, large sheets of snow. Large sheets of snow clung on the near permanent shade. So there you could see large sheets of snow hanging like a shade. That is clinging, hanging. And beneath the rocks, hunks of snow is so. I felt the pressure building up in my ears and held my nose, snorted and cleared them. So he felt that because the height, they are gaining height, so pressure building up in the ears, and they felt something, held his nose, snorted like this, snorted loudly, cleared them. We struggled round another height, another tight bench, and Satan stopped. So there are tight bends, with narrow bends. So slowly moved like at last Satan stopped. He had opened the door and jumped out of his seat before I realized what was going on. So tight bends again, unable to move, proceed further. So he stopped and he jumped out. That means some danger, something terrible is going to happen. So that's why he jumped out. And the narrator Nick says that I did not know why. Why did he jump out? I don't know. Snow, said Daniel, as he too exited the vehicle, letting him a breath of cold air as he did so. So Daniel also exited, went out. There is a snow. So is coming. Remember when they started, if there is a snow, if there is no snow, then the journey will be easier and comfortable. If snow, you cannot do it. It will be tough. He has already won. A swath of white stuff lay across the track in front of us. That also is stretching maybe 15 meters before it petted out and the dirt trail reappeared. So in front of 15 meters of ice, that is, what is it? A swath of white stuff. What is a swath of white stuff means? It's snow. And 15 meters, so it cannot go further. It's only 15 meters from here. And then waited for some time. And then they saw that just pettering out, slowly disintegrating. And the dirt trail reappeared. Again, the road reappeared. And when the snow petted out, the road reappeared. The snow continued on either side of us, as smoothing the abrupt bank on the upslope side. The snow had the effect of smoothing the abrupt bank. Abrupt bank means bumpy, not soft or not smooth. So snow had the effect of smoothing the abrupt bank on the upslope side. Upslope means they were climbing up. So these are our today's program comes to an end. Hope that you are enjoying and you are following my explanation. And it will also inspire you to read the text and learn all these words and use them in your expressions and use them in your day-to-day life. That is the reason why we are studying. Language is very important. Improve your language, understand that, so that you can use it anywhere. For example, you can say, explode into action, something a very good phrase in your day-to-day life. You can say, when I was sleeping, my mother woke me up and then I exploded into action. What action? Studying or going doing your day-to-day affairs, isn't it? Make chase. Very often dogs make chase of people. Street dogs, you can say. Easing off. After a day's hard work, we must ease off. Even God did that. Seventh day, He was easing off. So on seventh day, it is. If we are partakers of God's theatre, we are also partakers of God's rest. That's what Francis Bacon says. You might have heard of him. No? Tribute clogged and so on. Very often what happens, when you are suffering from cold, your nostrils will be clogged, blocked. And then what do? It's a Vicks vapor lock. So like that you should use these words in your day-to-day life. And today we have seen these things. The Tibetan Mastiffs, tense pitched in splendid isolation of the nomads, snow-capped the mountains gathering on the horizons, enter the valley, and then what happened? The river, and the river, when the valley becoming narrow and the roads become bumpier and rocks, they stopped. When they came across a swathe of white brilliant stuff and gleaming, that is snow, and when they started petering out, most probably they might have continued their journey. So after that we have come. See, when you are reading, you feel that you are also traveling with Nick Middleton, and you are also enjoying these sights. Bye. Have a nice time. Enjoy your life.